Around the Table on Harrison's Original, KHOZ.
Table with Dan and Ann.
Yeah, welcome to.
Wait a minute. We're in the wrong seats.
I think the problem is that it should be Ann and Dan today, and that just
Okay,
never
go ahead.
goes well for me.
Go ahead.
It doesn't go well. It's always like a discombobulation.
Oh boy, what a weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, you know,
Ah,
it's just crazy weekend.
always.
It went from 0 to 1,000 and, and
Yeah.
then back to 0 again.
You ever
but
feel
it's
like
okay.
you've been put through a spinner?
Yeah, people say life will throw you a curveball.
You reckon?
Yeah. Well, I had
And smack you
several
right in the
thrown at me.
face.
Yes, had several thrown at me this weekend, yeah.
Oh,
But you know
y'all.
what?
What?
The pool is officially open.
Now let's hope that you're able to keep it even with rain in all that mess. I'm glad that
gosh.
it's. What are you laughing at, buddy?
It's so funny. If let's take the worst case scenario of what a pool could be. Worst case,
Okay.
horrible.
Okay.
That's where I was,
Ew.
and it took almost 2 weeks to get it. I probably threw in 50 gallons of chemicals.
How many cuss words did you say?
Oh, well, at that point, you're just so defeated. You can't think of anything.
Did your blood pressure go up?
I probably not.
Good.
Probably not. Does yours go up?
Mine, dude. Yeah. We were having a little discussion beforehand of what makes my what has recently made
you
mine.
need to get in a Zen meditation
I'm
mode.
not as. Do you know me?
I know, but see, that would help you so much.
Oh, I agree.
That would help you to.
How do you do that, Dan?
Well, you gotta put a 12-foot pole in your backyard, and it's got to be 8 inches round. You climb that pole, and you sit lotus style on it.
Let me tell you something. If I climb a 12-foot pole, that's not going to be zen for Ann Limley. Much less I can't get in the lotus position.
Yeah, and then you sit there and you go hum.
Can I just do that from
Yeah.
the comfort of my own room?
Well, then you'd fall asleep. You need to have some kind of
Oh.
yeah. You need to be balanced. See,
So how does that balance out when you're not really like comfortable with heights?
I don't know. Well, you could put a 4-foot pole in, I guess. Would be easier to climb on.
Oh me, oh my.
Oh boy,
Well, wow.
I'm gonna write a book one day.
Are you?
All my advice and life lessons.
You
and,
should.
Yeah, maybe 3 pages.
And you're going to have the ones that are. We're missing a picture. The ones that are good in here. I mean, you're going. Hello, I just got totally sidetracked. But you're going to have the ones that are good are like 3 pages, and the ones that are not so good are going to be what? How long? If you put everything in, even the bad ones that are not good advice or thoughts.
You'd have 3 pages of coherent thought, and the rest of it would be just off the wall
You know, Dan
ramblings.
listens. That reminds me. I'm out here talking to myself, trying to process what I was supposed to do. He asked me a direct question. Have you done this? And I went, yeah. Well, we got in here. I'm like, nope.
Didn't do it.
I didn't do it. Oh, me.
Oh boy.
I gotta love a Monday.
Hey, I got to make a comment here.
Please do.
Today is the last day at Stone Bank
Yes.
that you can take advantage of this 5-month CD 5% deal that they've got APY stuff. Stone Bank have a high 5 deal for you for a limited time. Stone Bank is offering a 5% or 5-month certificate of deposit at 5% APY.
Wow.
With their minimum deposit of $1,000. So you can earn 5% APY on your investment. Visit Stone Bank in Harrison or online at stonebank.com. That's a heck of a good deal right now.
That is a major good deal. Now, it's only 5 months, so it is short term, and most of those higher percentage rate CDs tend to be short term.
Right.
But no offense to Stone Bank whatsoever, but I've always, I don't bank with them at this point. And I'm going to go, I guess you can go
Yeah.
get one if you're not a
I don't know.
bank there. I'm going to have to find that
We'll
out
find
because I
out.
plan to use that.
I think the
They want your money whether you're a.
well, the $1,000, the minimum that you put in there, they would say, oh, yeah.
And that's
okay.
what I think. So,
Yeah.
y'all listen, go take advantage
do
of
it
that.
today.
If you've got a little extra money laying around, at least $1,000, that'll, 5%.
Check it out.
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
What about, I don't know, what about anything?
Well, we could talk about weather, I guess. That's
Oh.
coming up.
Okay, the weather has had a little bit of ADD, and I don't know where
It's a little bit
yesterday's
weird
storm
yesterday.
came
Oh, my
from.
gosh. Oh, my gosh.
But I have limbs, I've got
Yeah.
crap all over my yard.
Kelly and I, we were watching Storm Track 360 because it was coming through Harrison from the north.
Right.
And it was high winds, and there's
Yeah.
a power outage and electric poles down across 43, I think, and at Cottonwood, somewhere around in there. And she says, well, we might ought to get all the pool noodles out of the pool because
Good idea.
they'll be gone. So we ran out there, and on the way back, this front came through. But it's 60 mile an hour. I mean, instantly, it just came from nothing to that. And the trees started swaying and moving, and I said, I might ought to go over and get that ladder and put it down because it was up against the house. Of course, it would be fine, but just about that time we heard a crack and a limb fell fairly close to us. I said, let's get in the house. No.
Wow. We were downstairs watching. Anyway, I didn't even know it was that bad,
Yeah.
but my lights kept blinking.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, something's going on.
Yeah, I
you
had-
know, and then
yeah.
a storm track, they went off air because Cox went off air.
Right.
So
Yeah. Well, his studio is really close off of Cottonwood, right up the road there. So I bet he lost power completely.
they had Willie Nelson concert last night at Thunder Ridge. They had to evacuate and
Wow.
completely postpone that. So it evidently got a little gnarly.
Little gnarly.
Some of us live under a rock, though,
Well-
such as myself.
Yeah.
So, where were we?
We were doing weather today.
Well, I was trying to find out something, but showers and thunderstorms likely mainly after 3 p.m. today. Mostly sunny, though, with a high of 90. Heat index values as high as 97. West wind around 5 miles per hour. Chance of precipitation is 70%. So, last week I think there wasn't a bunch of rain in the forecast, and here it is
Here it
now.
is.
Then tonight is a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, a low of 69. Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high of 86. And Tuesday night, partly cloudy, low of 65. Wednesday, high of 88. Wednesday night, low of 68. And go ahead and finish off the week and
All
give
right,
us our
and
4th
look,
of July
look for your
forecast.
thing. Okay, Thursday, it looks like a 20% chance of showers continues with a high around 90, and then overnight low is 70. Calm winds. Independence Day, 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms after 1 p.m., mostly sunny with a high near 91 degrees. And then Friday night, where all the fireworks will happen, partly cloudy with a low around 72. Doesn't look like there may be a chance. There will not be a chance, but we don't know that
Right.
completely. But up until right now, there's no percentage of precipitation. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 93, and then a 20% chance of showers happens overnight with a low of 72, and then 30% chance of showers
Sorry.
the next day.
I was checking to make sure our Facebook page has the right guest, which it does not.
Oh,
Although I put it in there.
uh-oh.
Or I thought I did. I mean, I know
Uh-oh.
I wrote it, but I don't know what happened. But anyway, so let's talk just a second about our guest today, which
Okay.
is we have representatives from the Daughters of the American Revolution.
Okay.
Tonya, Sherbourne, and Regent. Do you have the names before you?
Regent Laurie Cowling?
Cowling?
Yes.
And they will be talking about the 4th of July ceremony, Let Freedom Ring, which will be happening, I believe, on the... Well,
Okay.
we'll find out the details.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure if it's going to be indoors or where.
And then our second guest at our 9:30 mark is Chaon. Chaon Cross.
Sounds good to me. I
She's
don't know
the-
her. I don't know how to
She's the
pronounce it.
director of a play that's happening over in Eureka
Eureka.
Springs, Midsummer's Night Dream.
Yeah.
Midsummer's Night Dream.
Midsummer Night's Dream, and that's a Shakespeare. So if you're into a little Shakespeare,
Ooh,
go and do that.
highbrow stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Anyway, alrighty. There's your extended weather forecast. And what did it say again about 4th of July? Did you throw it away?
No chance of rain.
Well, that's probably good for
Nothing
the
at
4th
all.
of July.
A high 90, I think. Yeah.
Because fire in the sky is going to be happening here in town. And by golly, you
Yes.
don't want to miss it. Okay, Dan.
When is 4th of July? Is it
Friday.
Friday. Mm-hmm. On my app, it says let's see, high 87.
Okay.
It's not too bad.
No, that's not too bad at all.
Not too bad for Friday.
Right.
And no precipitation, so hopefully
As of
that'll
right now.
hold out. As of right now, yeah.
Well, how about we preface the topic to ponder?
Oh
since
my
good
gosh.
golly, Dan is always doing something. Holy cow.
Well, I had this idea. Instead of, usually try to get people to answer yes or no, I thought, what about multiple choice?
Of course you did. Your brain
Yes.
was firing.
And these are all comical.
Oh, sorry.
This a distraction. Squirrel.
Well, I was making sure it was going.
And I thought, what would it be like if you were a superhero? And then I thought,
Yeah.
no. How about if you're the notorious villain of the superhero?
Oh, so that's
So
your brain. You talk about squirrels in my brain.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what's living in yours.
Well, there's more than one squirrel. I'll tell
There's
you that.
more than one different animal up there, maybe. I don't know.
So
Anyway,
yeah,
want to go ahead?
let's go.
Let's go.
Get up, get moving, get those thinking caps on. It's time to ponder this topic.
You want to go ahead?
Sure. So, if you were a notorious villain, what would your signature crime be?
Unscrewing all the doors on an airplane.
Unscrewing all the doors? Oh my gosh.
Unscrewing all the bolts on an airplane. Oh,
Oh, the
there's
bolt.
already one of those. I
Oh, there's
can't do
already
that
one
now,
of those.
can I?
Yeah, well, that would be a notorious villain's
It
crime,
would.
wouldn't
It would be,
Well, for people that don't really want to answer, I've got some multiple choice answers here.
Yeah.
You want to hear some of them?
Yes, let's do.
Stealing everyone's Wi-Fi password and then changing them hourly. Ooh, what a crime!
Crazy. You know what? Sounds like Microsoft. No, I'm just-
Really, Microsoft's not good.
Well, we don't
bro. We don't like
too
it
much,
around
but
here.
yeah.
Anyway, replacing all soda with sparkling broccoli juice.
What? What were you doing when you came up with all these?
Thinking,
Okay.
hacking smart fridges to play elevator music nonstop.
Oh gosh, please no.
Hoarding all the world's left socks.
That's a good one, I think. Wow.
Okay.
Y'all.
Well, the topic to ponder is up on our Facebook page, and there's a picture of a notorious villain there.
There is. That was a nice graphic.
Yeah, you like that?
I do.
That was an AI image.
Well, of course it was.
Yeah.
But Dan knows how to do all that foo-foo stuff. You do.
Sometimes I don't want to know anything.
I'm sorry. I'm in here trying to type the correct
Okay.
guests onto our
right.
Facebook page.
So go to our Facebook page and give us your answer. And if you want to pick one from A to E or A to D, that's fine. And then there's E. You can choose your own answer. And we got a couple of them, I think.
Okay.
I wanted to read a couple because we got a couple answers.
Please do.
Yes. One answer is. Let me change this here. Okay.
Okay.
Leslie King says, I would go and take all the boats out of the wind turbines at night.
Okay, Leslie.
And then my wife Kelly says, I'd steal the cheese from the salad bar.
Oh, you make some
cheese
people
villain.
mad. Yo.
And then Jenny Halsey says, I would steal all the Chrome books and computers in schools and replace with real fun fiction books. Then I'd take everyone's phone and make them usable only 1 hour a day, a different hour for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't
us-
know. You pick your phone up, dadgummit, I can't use my phone.
That would probably drive me a little batty.
Yeah.
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 Well, we want to know what the rest of our audience thinks about those that particular question. If you are a notorious villain, What would be your signature crime?
Yeah.
What was yours? Did you say what yours was?
I didn't say what mine was.
What is yours?
Well, it's probably one. I would pick one of these.
Which one?
Let's see. I would do steal everybody's Wi-Fi because I hate passwords. I would be the person that would
Yes,
make
you
everybody
would.
suffer.
Only Microsoft. Sorry, no shade to Microsoft, but yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, all right. Graphics up. Go check it out and give us your responses.
Yep.
And then today in history,
Okay.
we're going to go ahead with our little intro.
Okay.
We're doomed to repeat ourselves, so let's find out what happened today in history.
And God bless.
Go ahead and play the first clip.
I would play that first clip had I remembered to put
them in?
put them
Okay.
in. So that's not happening.
We're going to be clipless today.
We are. So let's start off with 73 years ago. The radio program Guiding Light made its debut as a television soap opera on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
It would run all the way until 2009.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dan.
And then 40 years ago today, back in 1985, 39 American hostages from hijacked TWA Flight 847 were released in Beirut after 17 days in captivity. They were then driven to Damascus, Syria, where then former hostage Alan Conwell greeted reporters.
Okie dokie. And 39 years ago today, the Supreme Court ruled 5-4 that states could outlaw homosexual acts between consenting adults, even in the privacy of their own homes. Fred Graham reported for CBS. The court effectively reversed that decision in 2003, Lawrence versus Texas.
Okay. And then in 1997, 28 years ago today, which with much pomp and circumstance, Britain handed control of Hong Kong back to China. Prince Charles was among those on hand to bid farewell.
Okay. These are going a lot quicker, Dan,
They are.
because I don't have any audio. 13 years ago today, Islamist Mohammed Morsi became Egypt's first freely elected president as he was sworn in during a pair of ceremonies. The cheers didn't last long. Maybe it's Morsi was removed from office in a military coup just over a year later.
Didn't last long, yeah.
No.
And then 6 years ago in 2019, President Trump and North Korea Kim Jong-un met at the heavily fortified demilitarized zone between North and South Korea and agreed to revive talks on the North's nuclear program. A working level meeting in Sweden the following October broke down over what the North Korean described as the Americans' old stance and attitude.
And 3 years ago today, Ketanji Brown Jackson was sworn into the Supreme Court, shattering a glass ceiling as the first black woman on the nation's highest court. The 51-year-old Jackson became the court's 116th justice, taking the place of justice she once worked for, Stephen Breyer, whose retirement took effect as she took over.
Okay. And then 2022, 3 years ago, West Coast powerhouse USC and UCLA announced they are planning to leave the Pac-12 for the Big Ten Conference in the surprising move that promised to lead to a major realignment of college sports. Former USC Trojan Ronnie Lott admits he didn't see this one coming.
And 59 years ago today, boxer Mike Tyson was born. He was the champ, but he's also had bouts with the law and did some boasting in this day.
Sure did. And then also a birthday cut, 46 years ago today, American reggae artist Montijahu was born as Matthew Paul Miller. And then he had a hit called One Day.
And lastly, another birthday cut. 41 years ago today, American Idol winner Fantasia Barrino was born. She's known just as Fantasia and was the season 3 winner.
Okay.
There you go. In case you were wondering. And in case you weren't wondering, there you go.
There you go.
So, we need to take a break, Dan.
Yeah, okay.
But we have our first guests out in the lobby, and we will have Tonya Sherbourne and
Regent Laurie Cowling.
Cowling
Yes.
with the Daughters of the American Revolution when we return. Please stay with us. We'll be back after these messages.
Okay.
Welcome back to Around the Table with Dan and Ann, and we want to remind you that Paradise Cream has a creamy ice cream that you need to go check out.
How creamy
How
is it?
creamy is it, Dan?
Yeah,
It's pretty
good.
darn
Pretty good ice
creamy.
cream. Yeah.
They have non-dairy and vegan flavors, and they are located across the street from Pizza Hut. What?
I was going to say, don't forget your punch card.
Oh, yeah, don't forget your punch card.
Yeah, get
Okay.
10 punches and you get a free whatever you got. If you got scoops, you get scoops.
You get a scoop.
If you get 10 punch cards of pints, you get a pint.
Well, thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
You act like you speak from experience.
Well, I go there quite a bit.
Well, we want to talk now, not about ice cream, but we'll talk about that again later. And we want to let people know that we have Tonya Sherbourne and Regent Laurie Cowling in the studio, and they are with the Daughters of the American Revolution. And you have an event coming up that we want to highlight, and we want to let people know a little bit about DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution, as well as about your event specifically. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right.
Excited to be here.
Who wants to jump in there and tell us a little bit about DAR in general?
Okay, well, that would be me. Okay, the DAR is a lineage organization, which means we can trace our family tree back to a Revolutionary War soldier or patriot of some sort.
Okay.
We do a lot of service work. We do own buildings in Washington, D.C. I think it's the largest group of buildings owned by women,
Oh, really? Okay.
Wow.
which is really pretty cool. We are supposed to promote historic preservation, education, and patriotism. And it's a lot of fun. We have lots of sisters all over the world. There's 1 million members since we started this in 1890.
Wow.
Do you guys meet all the time, or I know you go to events around the state sometimes. I've known
Yes,
that.
we meet usually from September till May. Our local chapter meets on Mondays at 10:30 on the fourth Monday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody is interested in seeing what we do and interested in joining, please reach out.
And your only real requirement is that you have a descendant that was in the Revolutionary War,
That's correct.
Yeah.
You have to
And
prove
maybe
it.
female. I mean, since it's daughters, right?
Yes,
All right.
there's a sons and a children too. So
Okay, okay.
Well,
okay.
my wife recently did some research, and lo and behold, she's a daughter of a Revolutionary War veteran.
Okay.
And what does she do now?
okay,
If she's interested, yeah.
let me get her name and number,
Okay, yeah.
and I will pass that on to our registrar, who is fantastic. And if it can be proven, it will
Yeah.
be proven.
And how does somebody go about proving it?
Yeah.
Can you help with that in some way?
Well, I can't.
I know,
the
but-
registrar certainly can.
Okay,
yes.
but there's avenues that you
Yes,
can point
you go
people to.
through birth records, death records,
Yeah.
marriage certificates, even down to rubbings of cemetery
Oh, yeah.
headstones and
Oh,
things like
wow.
Yeah.
that. So
Okay.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time when I was in high school following my mom around Ohio, doing just this exact same
Wow.
thing. So
Okay.
it's pretty cool.
Cool.
Well, you are having a 4th of July celebration, if you will, and it's called Let Freedom Ring. So tell us a little bit about, or a lot about that.
A lot
actually.
about that. Well, we're really excited. It's on the 4th of July on the gazebo on the Harrison Square at 11 a.m. And we'll start off with the Boy Scout Troop 60 will do our flag ceremony for us. We have a couple of Revolutionary soldiers that will be there in the procession. And
Okay.
then we're also going to do a fun thing called, I've started a town crier moment. He
Oh,
came
my
through,
goodness.
He was dressed as a Revolutionary soldier last year. He walked in, he stood on the gazebo steps like they would have
Yeah.
then.
Sure.
And told us what was going on. So he's going to be there again to talk about the upcoming 250th anniversary of the United States will be next year.
Uh-huh.
So we have big things planned for next year.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all these events have started happening now. Like we've already had 250th anniversary
Okay.
of some of these battles, and it's all started. So this is a really cool year and a lot of
Yeah, it's exciting for
celebrations
that.
that we'll have.
Yeah.
So we're excited to have Dakota Fur will be our Revolutionary soldier. And then we decided to take this year, we're going to honor Korean War veterans. Because on June, I could be wrong, 25th of 1950, is my date wrong? I'm close.
Somewhere around there.
That's when the Korean War began.
Yes.
So I started searching what his, celebrations like you just did a minute ago, the history moments for the day. And so it's the 75th anniversary of the beginning of the Korean War.
Okay.
So these gentlemen are quite, getting older.
They're older.
Sure, yeah.
A little bit, so we wanted to honor them. And in my quest to try to find Korean War veterans this year, I just happened to stumble across a gentleman, Arlen Hickman.
Yes.
He turned 17 on the
Oh,
day
yeah, okay.
that the Korean War started. He's going to speak to us about that day. We have found Victor Snyder. He's 94, and he actually fought in Korea. He's going to give us a few words about whatever he wants to share about being in Korea during that time. And then I found, I didn't find, but it was given to me, Joe DeWald. He was in the Coast Guard, and he was at Ellis Island, got on a ship, headed over to Korea to do his duty on Armistice Day. He gets so far out, they turn him around, and he has to come back. So isn't it pretty cool that we found
What of some stories to
Yeah, that's
share?
good.
right here in Harrison?
Yeah.
So
Right.
these three gentlemen are graciously going to give us a little bit of history, and I just think that's an awesome way to celebrate for
sure.
the 4th of July that these men did this for us. Sometimes the Korean War is the forgotten war because it was
is.
only
Yeah.
3 years long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still important, and we want to honor them. So I'm real excited about that. So I hope that you'll come and listen
Well,
to
tell
that.
us more details about when and like, the time, all that, of
It's
when this celebration is.
On the 4th of July at 11 a.m. at the
Okay.
gazebo on
And
the
if it
square.
rains, what happens? Do we have a rain plan yet?
We're working on that.
Okay. Okay. All right.
But hopefully it'll be
Well, we
clear
just read our
skies.
forecast. It's supposed to be clear.
Right.
That's what they're
Hopefully we
saying
can
right
hang
now.
on to that. Yeah.
And if y'all find out otherwise, you can let us know, and we'll try to get that out
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
But what a wonderful day to celebrate people, who took part in the Korean
Sure, yeah.
War, and to honor them, I guess, basically.
Yes.
And let them tell their story for a little bit of
Yes.
time.
I've read Arlen's speech. He's already sent it to me. It
course
is
he has.
awesome.
Oh, good.
I just can't wait. He'll have you rolling at times,
Oh,
and then
that's
you're
funny.
thoughtful at times. So I'm sure all the gentlemen will do just as
That's
well.
good.
You bet.
And if there's any other Korean War veterans that we have not located
Yeah.
that would love to come and be recognized, and we would love to include them or at least know they were there.
Yeah.
They don't have to speak, but we just want to recognize
Sure.
if any are.
Yeah, you want to
Sure.
honor them.
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful program to be able to do that.
Yes. And we're excited to have the Mary Mother of God combined choirs.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to sing the national anthem, and then they're going to do a piece called One Voice. A smaller quartet will do that for us. So that's exciting that they wanted to do that. And then we'll also have we'll ring bells for the 13 original colonies,
Right. Okay.
since, that's how it started.
Sure.
And so
Bring a bell.
Bring a bell and a
Bring your
lawn
own
chair
bell.
to
Ring
sit.
my bell.
Yes, bring a bell. So she'll give a little bit of history about the 13 colonies, and then she will say each one, and we'll just ring a little bell in
Okay.
honor of those 13
Yeah.
colonies
Yeah.
for joining together.
But what a wonderful patriotic celebration, and the cause that you've chosen to honor is one that you mentioned. It gets kind of pushed to the side. People don't think about the Korean War a lot, and there you go.
One of the things that the DAR does, particularly here in Arkansas and in our chapter especially, we are all about helping the veterans and doing what we can for the veterans and for the active duty folks, particularly out at the National Guard Armory.
Sure.
We've kind of adopted those guys and
Okay.
and girls and helping them out or their families. So
That's good.
Well, ladies, wow.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add before we have to close this segment out, or just be there at 11 on Friday? And if you feel like you're if you can trace your descendants to the Revolutionary War, this is an organization that you should investigate to
Right,
to
and
be a
it's
part
a
of.
non-political organization. We are just patriotic
Right.
American citizens that are proud to be here. We're proud of our ancestors that got us to where we are, because we're the best country.
Yes, we are.
Yep.
We are.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that y'all agreed to come on, and I want to encourage people to attend to this celebration on July 4th at 11 at the gazebo.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you. All right.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank
we
you.
need to go to another break, and when we come back, we'll have Director of Midsummer Night's Dream going on in Eureka. So stay with us. We'll be back after these messages.
See.
Welcome back to Around the Table with Dan and Ann, and we have a special guest, Sean Cross. She has traveled over from Eureka this morning, and
Yeah, thanks for traveling over.
yes, thank you very much. We do appreciate that. I want people to go ahead and tell us about. Well, no, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I got a little sidetracked there. Sean, tell us your background as far as you're directing a play, but tell us your background as to how you got started in doing that.
How I approach this project.
Sure.
Great. Eureka Springs is my hometown. I was
Okay.
born and partially raised in Eureka Springs. I spent the last decade and a half being a professional actor in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, good.
Okay.
So I have recently moved home in the last 2 years. I've refocused my priorities on family and quality of life. So obviously I had to leave the big beautiful city of Chicago and all the opportunities there in
Yes.
professional theater. But that doesn't mean that an artist doesn't want to create art.
You bet.
So I am always looking for a way to create theater in Eureka Springs. And so I joined up with Five and Dime Theater Collective, at the time is what they were called. We've reassembled the board and renamed ourselves Eureka Springs Theater Company.
And how long? When did that happen?
That was last year,
Okay.
about a year and a half ago.
So this whole thing is relatively new
Yeah.
for theater to
Very
be
much so.
showcased. Okay.
Now, when I grew up in Eureka, theater was very alive. We had a community theater company that did plays all the time. And it's sort of died down now. So I'm excited to get back into the community and find the people that have a passion for it.
You
and
bet.
Get them together and make some art.
I love that. I love that.
Well, you're amongst theater people because we've both been in plays before.
Oh,
Yeah,
And we understand that thing that gets in your blood
Yes.
that
The
never
bug.
goes away.
yes. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
need to tell a story
Y-
for me is what it is.
Yeah. And you have that creative passion
Yes.
that you have to constantly create something.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
true. And if I just don't have an outlet for it, then
Yeah.
it gets real messy at home. My
Yeah.
family is happier when I have an outlet.
Yeah.
I can
I
understand
create
that.
the drama at home, so might as
Well,
well
it's-
do it on a stage.
Actually, it's our drug of choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll go with that.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
go
really
with
good.
that. Yeah.
Well, this is exciting to know that it's on the upswing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you're involving people that have probably have that a passion to want to create too.
Well, that's a wonderful thing about our community theater in general is that you're diving into the community. You're asking
Mm-hmm.
people to come out and spend their time. We rehearse
Yeah.
4 days a week, 2 hours a day. And these are people that have 9 to 5s and have lives. So they're choosing to come out and commit to this project. And
And it's a
memorize.
volunteer
It is.
thing.
It's all volunteer. And so you're really not doing it for the fame or the money. You're doing it
Yeah.
because you really have a passion for it.
Yeah.
And everybody has a different background or reason why they're there. But the project brings us together and we share that common focus and goal, which is the beauty
Yeah.
of a project like
And then you
this.
put something together that everyone ends up enjoying, and you get to share that.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Yes.
Is there a little bit of ego involved?
I've left my ego in the city because I'm not pursuing the next bigger job or
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
better role or the higher paycheck
Right.
anymore. It really is just an honest pursuit of storytelling.
Well, and when you're passionate about the theater, you want to share that passion with people and you want them to appreciate the arts, in a way that you have come to appreciate the arts.
Absolutely, and there's also an unknown there, which happens only when an audience gets in the same room or the same environment with a cast who's telling a story. Suddenly there's a shared experience, and
Yes.
it's live, and it's never the same, and each audience is individual, and they affect the performance.
You
And
bet.
the magic of that, the live theater experience, I think is what brings communities together, and I think that's the value in that experience too.
Now, tell our audience what you're directing and
Why
some
did
of the
you choose
details
that?
there
Yeah.
and why you chose this particular
Yeah.
play.
I have always had a heart, since my undergrad studies at Stevens College in Columbia, Missouri, I had a wonderful teacher who helped me break through with Shakespeare. So I've always had a heart for Shakespeare. I love the language. I love how he writes a human. He writes human conditions. So his themes and his plays are just timeless, right? They're things we know in our bones because they're essentially human. So Shakespeare, because I love Shakespeare and I have a history with Shakespeare. I toured for 2 years with a Shakespeare troupe. So I feel like I can approach this material and try to make it accessible because I think he gets a bad rap. that he's boring or too hard or too difficult to understand as a modern audience, and that doesn't necessarily have to be so. So that's why Shakespeare, and I adapted this as an original adaptation of A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Okay.
So I've shortened it as much as possible. I want this to be a very clear, concise, and quick, fun romp through this comedy. So I've cut the lovers completely out, and we're focusing on the fairy realm. We've got a king and queen of fairies. We've got fairies and their train. And then on the other side of it, we have these rude mechanicals or tradesmen, men that work with their hands, who have never done a play before, who find themselves tasked with the task of creating a play for Duke Theseus's wedding. So it's similar in community members who don't normally do theater coming together and figuring out how to put a play on.
Yeah.
And there are clowns, there are fun, and they are a lot of fun. So we've got a magical realm where there are love potions and magic things happening. We've got the earthly realm with these very underqualified actors coming together and trying to put a play on. So it's just a lot of fun.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes.
And you are doing this play where? Is there a theater that you utilize there in Eureka, or where do you do things like this?
Well, this particular project we are doing in Harmon Park, which is a public park in Eureka Springs.
Oh, okay.
There's a historic amphitheater, so the nature of the landscape is a little beautiful amphitheater. It's lawn seating, so the
Probably where Shakespeare did his first plays.
Well,
out in public, do you think? Or
well, he would have, I don't know where he would have started, but we all know he ended up at the Globe. Yeah. And that is similar in this space in that it's a thrust stage, and we have audience on three sides of us, and we're doing it in broad daylight, all the same conditions that Shakespeare would have been doing his plays at the Globe. So it really lends itself to the nature of the project. In fact, the stage that we're doing it on is called the Arvist Stage. It was poured about 15 years ago, I believe, with the intention of a summer Shakespeare festival becoming part of Eureka Springs. And 15 years later, we're finally doing a production of Shakespeare on it.
Yeah.
Yes, so it already lends itself, the space lends itself to what we're doing. It's also in this beautiful natural environment, which, like I said, the fairy realm is in the enchanted forest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we don't even have to build a set because
that's amazing, right?
Yeah,
that's good.
There's the natural rock formations of the park and trees, and you know, you are already surrounded by the magic of the forest. So that's why I chose Harmon Park. I knew that it was already set up for Shakespeare to be done there, and Midsummer is just, that's the environment, the natural park environment lends itself to that story. So that's why we chose that park.
Now being in the open like this, are you selling tickets, or is it open to the public?
Well, we are selling tickets. We are a not-for-profit, small community theater. We're just getting back on our feet again. And so we are selling tickets for $10 a head. We're trying to make it really easy for people to come. Kids 7 and under are free.
Okay.
So, you know, families can come and not have to pay for every family member. So we're selling tickets at the door. You can also go on reserveeureka.com and buy your tickets there. And it's real casual. It's all lawn seating, so we're encouraging people to bring their picnic blanket or their chair, their bug spray.
So you can bring a lawn chair.
Yes. Yes. It's very Shakespeare in the Park or an outdoor sort of, you know, if you'd go and listen to music outdoors, same kind of energy. Like bring bug spray and your chair and, you know, a bottle of water. Now, the fun thing is before the show, the hour before the show, we're having local vendors come. We are having some local entertainment, belly dancers, modern dancers, flag dancers, original artist that sings and writes his own songs. So we'll have some entertainment, some refreshments, and some vendors. So we're trying to create a little bit of a festival vibe before the show even starts, so that everybody's in a good mood. We feel playful and energetic. And then at 5:30, we'll launch into our play.
Now, I'm sure that you can dress in costume if you would like to as an audience member, and maybe encouraged. I don't know, but I would think so.
Yes.
And sounds a little bit like the Renaissance.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've been referencing a little bit of a Renaissance fair energy is what we're trying to bring to it, so that everybody feels playful and is ready to suspend their disbelief, right?
All you need now is a juggler.
do need a juggler. Anyone
With
out
the
there would
little
like to
things.
be in our pre-show hour who juggles?
Do you
please
juggle, Dan?
Contact
No?
us. Yeah, we do need a juggler.
Do you? Okay. Is this? Hello. Is this theater open to people from not just in Eureka if they want to come and audition for a play or something like that? And how will they know that there's auditions available? How does that work?
Okay. Those are good questions. Yes, yes, and yes. If you are in the area and you are interested in being part of a community theater project, you can contact us at, let me think of my very new email, which is
Put her on the spot, y'all. I'm
I know
sorry.
you put me right on the spot. Eureka Springs
You
Theater at gmail.com. And maybe we could revise it
And
after.
if we need to revise that, we will. But
I believe it's Eureka Springs Theater at gmail.com. Try that, folks. Also, if you follow us, we have a Facebook page.
Okay.
So that's really
That's
easy.
probably
If
easy.
you're on Facebook, you can go and look up Eureka Springs Theater Company, and we will advertise any auditions, open call auditions there.
okay. What's the date of this performance?
Yeah.
And is there just one?
There are not. We are doing 4 shows.
Okay.
So we're doing Friday and Saturday, July 18th and 19th, and Friday and Saturday, July 25th and 26th. So
Okay.
2 consecutive weekends. Like I said, 4:30 is when our pre-show festivities start. We have local vendors and refreshments and entertainment, and then 5:30 is showtime.
Okay.
Can I say a little bit something about parking?
Yeah.
We'll have to go pretty quick because we're running out of time. But yes,
There
you
is
may.
very limited parking, almost
Okay.
no parking at Harmon Park. So
Okay.
suggestions are Train Depot. There is free parking across the
Okay.
street from the Exchange Train Depot.
Yes.
We're working on getting a shuttle to move people up and down from there. You can park at the Crescent Hotel or near the Crescent Hotel and walk down the Crescent Trail is a really enchanting way to get to Harmon Park. And lastly, there is a dog park down below Harmon Park called Bark Park, and you can park there and walk up the hill to the park. But don't come looking for lots of parking. You're going to have to be creative
Okay.
and work with us parking-wise.
Okay. Well, we all know Eureka.
Yeah.
It's unique, and the
Yeah.
parking is sparse in a way.
Ethereal.
So it is. So, but I would encourage people to check out your Facebook page
Yeah.
and go in and buy tickets to this performance. It sounds like
Come
a
on
really,
sounds
out,
really
fun.
nice
enjoy
time.
it. Yeah, join us in the park and hear a little Shakespeare in the early summer evening.
Yeah, I was going to say
Perfect.
it's not so late in the evening that
Right.
people can't drive from here and then get
Right.
back before it gets really
Right.
too late.
Right.
Correct. It
Yeah.
won't be a long production, so yeah, you can
Okay.
make a drive
Very
after or
cool.
go to dinner
Yeah.
or whatever you want to do with your evening.
Well, Sean, thank you for being
Yeah,
here
thanks for
and,
coming.
and coming
Having me.
over and telling us all about this. I think this is something that our community would be interested in being able to
Yeah.
see a little Shakespeare in the park.
Yes, come on out.
That's
All
a
right.
great introduction to Shakespeare.
It
Yes.
is for sure.
Yes.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank
and
you for having me.
we're going to take our last break and we'll be back shortly.
Hometown TV, channel 26.1.
Welcome back to Around the Table with Dan and Ann. We are almost finished on this crazy Monday.
Wow, what a crazy hour we went through just now.
We have, and it's a wonderful crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is wonderful.
We like to, what in the world are you doing?
Sorry.
Oh, me, Dan.
Tearing up the equipment here.
Yeah, well, what do you want to talk about, Dan?
Oh, let's see. We've got, that's not much time.
No, it
You know
isn't.
what today is?
No, Dan.
Today is Please Take My Children to Work Day. Where's your children?
You're not taking them. They got
Taking
their
my
own life, bud.
Children. I'd have to bring my grandchildren or my pups.
Your pups.
My pups. My
Bring your pups.
Kevin and Dobby.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin and Dobby.
Kevin and Dobby. Okay.
They're killers.
Is this for somebody else to take your kids to work?
Or for
you
yeah,
too?
maybe I take that. Let somebody else take my kids to
There
work.
you go. There
Anyway.
you go.
It's also Social Media Day. Every day's Social Media Day, isn't it? In people's
in
lives.
way too many ways.
It's been ruining society since 2005.
You know, I don't disagree with some of
Yeah, really.
Outfit of the day.
This is
Do you
my
do
outfit.
an outfit of the day?
This is it.
Well, this is
What do you
my
think?
outfit of the day. It's just really
You gotta move your shoulders
It's busy
around
and
like that.
jamming. You're busy jamming, dude.
Damn it.
International Asteroid Day.
Mark of the day, 1908, the largest asteroid impact modern history. It hit the Earth in 1908. Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the start of the Wimbledon. The Wimbledon.
Wimbledon.
They play tennis over there in Wimbledon.
Oh, for Pete's sake, Dan.
This is the 138th Wimbledon Tennis Championship, and it starts today.
Okay.
It starts with a twist. This will be the first year without line judges. Instead, they'll use computerized system to call if the ball is either out or not. You know, a lot of discrepancy and a lot of controversy over the line judges. You know,
Sure.
They blink and they say it's in, but it's really out. Well, now you can let AI and computerized judging let you know all about that.
Okay.
I think they've got sensors on the line where if it hits a certain way, it says out or in. So,
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know so much?
I don't know.
Useless information.
Yeah.
But that's all at Wimbledon.
Yeah, don't forget the Wimbledon. It's opening today. It's the 138th.
Wow, we got about 10 seconds. We're gone. See y'all.
Table program. Find us in Harrison at 1302 Highway 6265 North or online at stonebank.com. Stone Bank, the